Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Happy Monday. Thanks again for coming back to the channel and tuning in. So, normally when I do these videos, I've got like a script that I pull up and put on my desktop screen right here and stuff. But I thought that today I try to do something a little bit different, just, sort of go off the cuff, speak from the heart a little bit, just with some of the things that I've been thinking about lately and just some of the stuff I've been working through as far as like my voiceover career and also how that ties into my broader life in general. So, as you can see from the description title, it is my birthday today, so it was 29 years ago today that I first graced the earth with my presence. So, yeah, 29, feeling fine, everything's good, yeah. So it really gives me an opportunity every time I have a new birthday to sort of think back on, what the previous year of my life was all about, what evolutions I went through, what sort of experiences that I had, and ultimately, how it led me to be the person I am now and get to the place where I am now. So, yeah, I'm like from 28 to 29 was probably one of the biggest, most monumental years of my life as far as just like my growth as an adult, my sense of purpose and placement in this life, and as well as, it's the year I started this voiceover career. So, that was a big thing for me, and that's really what I'm doing right now, and it's making sense more than anything else I've done so far. So, yeah, a little personal backstory for me. So some of you people who know me personally, if you're coming from Facebook to check out this video. So one of the things that one of my dreams, like ever since I was like in high school, late high school, was I'd always thought about having a career in the military. I'd always thought about joining the Army, doing something in combat arms. My dream job was I'd always wanted to be on a special ops unit, a special forces unit, like, either Green Berets, Navy SEALs. I was leaning more towards the Army just because I'm not a great swimmer, and there were just a lot of more options within the Army. But I had been in Army ROTC even my sophomore year of college, and ended up having to drop that on account of a medical disqualification. So that ended that path to it. Although, excuse me, that it was still something I'd had in the back of my mind, which wasn't a door that was completely closed. So that was something that I still continued even though I was doing different kind of career stuff, going through more school, working at a law firm, doing different things. It was still something I always kind of had in the back of my mind, and it was something that I spent time, just exploring. I did some different activities. I would get in shape. I started taking martial arts. I had a very brief stint in the emergency medical field, so I became a licensed EMT, and I thought, this would be a nice building block toward a potential, career doing that kind of stuff in the military. And then as time went on, and as I started, learning more about myself and being more honest with myself, learning about my temperament, my gifts, it eventually came to the point where I couldn't just, keep it in the back of my head anymore. It was, and I couldn't keep, I think, lying to myself anymore, trying to tell myself that I was a person that I had this story about this kind of person I wanted to be, and who I thought that I was supposed to be, and who I wanted to see myself as. And at a certain point, I just had to become honest with myself and be like, this just doesn't seem to be jiving with, my real temperament, with my gifts, and with everything going on. So it was actually a year ago today, on my 28th birthday, that I was at my parents' house, and I made just a very emotional decision. The root of the decision was not emotional, but it was emotional when I made I made the decision to finally, close the door on pursuing a career in the military. I just, had enough occasions in my life where I was thinking, that, I didn't see myself as the kind of guy who could, handle those kind of stresses, who could, thrive in that kind of an environment. And, yeah, it was a very shattering kind of thing, because that had always kind of been like my dream image of myself, of the person I wanted to be, of the kind of life that I wanted to live. And a lot of things, just really made sense for me when I was sort of on that track. And then to decide to close that door when it was so much, of my life, perhaps even more about, I had put more emphasis on it than I even realized. Having that door closed made you just take a step back and think like, okay, what really am I about then? I did all these things sort of in the idea that I was going to be pursuing this particular career field, and now that I've sort of closed the door on that, where do I go from here? So it was kind of a dark time in my life where, I just really had to sort of rethink and redefine myself for who I was. And yeah, so it's like you're one place, and then something gets kicked out from under you, and all of a sudden you're just lost. Like you're in the wilderness, you're in the underworld. Like you thought you knew where things were, you thought everything was making sense, that this is the path that has been laid out before me. Then all of a sudden you're just like, no, that's that's a door, that is a closed door. That's not something that's going to work out for you anymore. So yeah, so I mean, and then ultimately, that's what really opened up the opportunity to think like, well, if I'm not going to be doing this anymore, then I may as well, start pursuing, looking at it, interests in some other passions and career options out there. So and that's when I really decided to start actively pursuing voiceover. When I started to audition on like websites like Casting Call Club, where I got cast for my first couple things. I got a couple small gigs at a local recording studio, working on big like video audiobook project where I really got to go into the studio and record myself and do a little bit of acting. And I mean it was just, and then it just started to snowball. Like I did well with those. I was enjoying myself. I kept picking up more roles on these casting sites, and I continued to do more research about the industry and what it would actually look like to build a career in voiceover, and what the market looked like and all that. And the more research I did, the more I realized, wow, this is like actually a very tenable thing that you can do, especially today, with like all this technology. Like, I mean, I don't have to go to a studio to record this video or to, record anything for any of my clients. Like, this is right in my own house. And I got the microphone, I got all the technology, everything's through the internet now. So it was just a very tenable thing that I could be able to do to work from home. And, things just started snowballing, and ultimately I explained in previous videos how I left my previous job and things just made sense to pursue this, and I've been doing this full time ever since. And just realizing how much evolution I had to go through as a person to get to this point, and sort of hitting that wall a year ago today, which ultimately led me to reconsider where my life was going and get me on the track that I'm at right now. And now at 29, feeling generally just a lot happier, a lot more at peace with who I am, a lot more at peace with the decisions, the vocations I've decided to follow, the career choices that I've made. And yeah, it's just really wild to think back on how much has happened in just the previous year, and probably the most significant year of my adult life so far. And yeah, I mean, things are still going well. I'm still getting more work, still growing, still learning, and things are looking promising for the future. So yeah, it's always nice to take some time, look back at your life, put things in perspective, see where you came from and how everything that you did previously had to fall in line to get you to exactly where you are now. So yeah, other than that, I mean, working today, I've got a few more stuff I got to do, few more things I got to do for some clients. I'm going to audition for some more roles, and hopefully, do a little more marketing, find some more websites to get on, and just keep going away at that grind. All right, well, that's what I got for today. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Take care. God bless.